welcome back to another episode of the House of Aquarius podcast. It is your favorite Aquarius. Make a wish in the building. Whew! Let's go. Today I'm actually a little hyped on this one. I hope I can do this run the proper justice that I've been thinking about it being done to, because this is what I actually wanted to do. Alright, so today we're talking love talking. Ow. We're talking about the relationship today between an Aquarius man and a Leo woman. Now this case study is going to be actually a little personal to me, because this actually happened to me. And at some point in time, you have to think about things. You always reanalyze situations you had in your life, especially through astrology, and see how things may or may not have, but how things worked out and how things happened the way they happened by looking at things through the zodiacal signs. So in this situation, where do I want to start? Aquarius man. Aquarius likes freedom, independence, likes being eccentric, different, being to their own drum, all that weird shit, minus the pin needles and that kind of shit. Maybe, I don't know, if that's you, you're kind of Aquarius, just not me. Leo, they like socializing and stuff. They like being the main point of recognition. They like being the center stage. They tend to be more flamboyant and rebellious of their looks and other such stuff. In this situation, what else? Damn. You just talk, boy, keep going. In this situation, though, should I think that for a second? In this situation, Aquarius intrigues the fire sign Leo because of their quirkiness and sometimes tend to be more outgoing in social settings than others. But in this situation, it started at a bar. I have more details. Bar. I don't drink, but I play a lot of pool and poker. So I was always constantly in bars at some point in time after my first LTR, long-term relationship. I was out and about learning how to brighten my Aquarius lifestyle. At the point, this is great too. This is actually a point in time in my life when I was developing as a person more. Was it 25? I was 24, 25. So 24, 23, 24, 25. I was in ballpark, okay? So I passed the intro stages of my sun sign life, and now I'm going to the furthest into the more becoming of a sun sign. That's why if you guys watched my earlier stuff I mentioned before about how as I getting older, I become more and more like my sun sign. I just read it again today too, just to remind myself, refreshing the thought process of how Aquarius is supposed to be. And I'm like, shit, I am more like an Aquarius now than what I was back then. Like, oh shit. It comes with age. This isn't for kids. Like I keep telling you. My TikTok, MAK3AWish1 TikTok.com. Like I said, at that fine age, I was out and about doing the whole bar scene thing, playing poker and pool quite regularly. So at that location that I used to frequent, I was not one of the celebrities, but I was regularly out and about. Everyone knew who I was, and I was You know, just living my bar life. Which my bar Ricky is completely different than home Make-A-Wish. You know what I'm saying? Way different. More talkative about nothing. More entertaining about nothing. And just entertaining, just be entertaining. Saying things that are off the top of the head, you know, that kind of good stuff. It's kind of like a Gemini, without being a Gemini. Just another air sign, you know what I'm saying? Living a good life. So that's actually one thing right there. I was saying is that fire signs tend to have a certain connection with the typical social life outgoing features of an air sign. In this situation, fire sign Leo, air sign Aquarius. So that was the initial click to the spark of life right there. And that's how things happen. The sparks. Excuse me. Oh, that's another thing I never mentioned. Every sign can, contradictory or not to each other in the long run, tends to have a lot of short, immediate gratification things that can interest them. But in the long run, those same things that they may like, they may not like later. It could be a burden. It could be the case in the situation here. I'm quirky and different and shit, as an Aquarius is supposed to be. That garnered her attention. It's funny because Leo-wise, she wasn't a typical Leo. Like how I view and understand Leos, like from a physical standpoint, she did not carry those characteristics. She wasn't very standoutish. She wasn't very seeking the center of attention. Those things did hold true to what's going on. So, in that regards, I mean, unfortunately, I never actually, at the time, I wasn't into astrology, so I didn't even think about, checking the moon sign or ascending or any other jazz, So, that's unfortunately a shortcoming of this episode. But again, the good thing about this, we're going to talk about sun signs here. So, whatever. What else here? Oh, that's why I did like about it. I forgot about this. Leo trait, very, very independent. Typically have their shit together. That is a very common thing for Leos, and she was also the same way. Oops, got people in the camera that she ain't supposed to be there. That's a very common thing for Leos. That is also a very attractive trait to me. And I'm not sure it's exactly for Aquarius or not, but again, that's a contradictory thing because, well, it's a grounding thing. For regard to say if she was an earth sign, grounding the air sign, keeping them more stationary, keeping them more stable, being open to doing things, that kind of stuff. Those kind of things that are contradictory works out sometimes in the short term, not always in the long term, depending on how it is. So going further with that, so I'm gonna assume that's what the two things were. So was my outgoing personality and charisma and shit like that for the fire sign, and her quite subtle and independent nature. That's what I'm going to guess the two that actually made things happen the way they happened. Proceeding forward though, as time went on, I'm trying to find some key prominent things about these signs that actually matter. I know one problem we had in our relationship as time went on. I forget how long we were together. Was it more than a year? I think it was more than a year. I can't think off the top of my head right now. I think it was more than a year. Maybe a year and a few months. Man, time flies. But either way, in this situation, one of the biggest hurdles I had dealing with her as an Aquarius was that Leos are typically known for, having that kingdom. when they're in the kingdom, when they claim their kingdom, they have a hard time of relinquishing it. And the thing about the kingdom, the lion's pride, they proud their kingdom. It could be literally their house, it could be their career, it could be their relationship, it could be whatever the lion decides to raise their leg or piss on and claim that's theirs. That's what the kingdom is for a Leo. And I believe, no, it wasn't house, it wasn't location for her. Career. Her career. She was very stuck on her career. And not in a good way. Because this is one of the things, like, you know, what they say about the starving artist, like they love the passion of his career so much, but they ain't make any money from it whatsoever. And this is how this was. If I recall correctly, she was doing something that Leos love, helping. But it was helping children, which that's great by itself. Okay, I can't say was she a teacher? No, she wasn't a full teacher, but she was doing something in childcare. And with that, that's something that, well, when you're in childcare, Leos like to take charge. And when you're the oldest person in the room, or one of the oldest people in the room, you have more luxury of being more, not controlling, more commanding of what's happening in situations. But unfortunately for her, it was going nowhere. And that was the one thing that bothered me, because I'm a person that I love independence. I love being able to take care of yourself. And one thing with me is that if someone is unable to take care of themselves over what they're currently doing, I personally believe that they should go find something else better to be able to maintain yourself. If it's temporary or it's long term, whatever it is, but you should be doing something to further yourself in the long run. She was completely against doing that. That was a problem, big problem with me, because I'm the independence guy. At the time, I was making more than enough money for myself to sustain myself in my living situation and then move things forward. And I was always looking to better myself to make more money or make better moves. And she was unwilling to do so. That was the negative there. That's the Aquarius thing right there. The freedom to be free, not be detached, or not detached, but not be locked down into a situation. Which financially you could be locked in a situation and the leash is so tight you can't go anywhere. And that's a problem, especially for a person without any kids, and have nothing but hope and opportunity for yourself to do more things. You know, like I said, I want to, And then for that else, that was a problem with me. And then I think one problem for the Leo had with me in regards to that was that, she didn't like the fact that I kept trying to push her, not push off from her, but that advice. Leos love to give advice, but they don't like to always take advice. They're very helpful, and they didn't like that. She didn't care for that too much. One other thing too, this is a good Aquarius Leo dynamic, is that Leos love to be the center of attention. They love to be shown adoration for whatever they are, however they are. Compliments, trophy wifing, constantly, that's it. I couldn't find a real word, but yeah, that's that right there. And unfortunately for her, and this Aquarius was not that kind of person. I do give compliments. I do show adoration, appreciation, but not to a level of which the Leo would appreciate. Constant. And that's the situation right there. If in the short term, that may be something you can deal with, but for the Leo, but in the long term though, you might want someone more emotional or sentimental or emotionally connected per se. That was one thing. That was the issue. Like, I ain't think this was not scripted at all, obviously. I ain't writing none of this shit down. I'm just going through my head right now. One thing that was great. Not great, but great for this. Was that she had I can't remember what it was. She had the flexibility to show improvement, to try and make things work, to show compromisation. As things were showing closer and closer, or already was being terminated. I forget, either or. Oh yeah, one thing was bad though, was she liked to stay at home. Like I said, that's her kingdom too, that she wasn't really trying to get out of her place. Which is okay to some degree, but if you're barely making enough to sustain yourself there and you barely have no space to live the life you want to live in your place, you should want more. And that's one of the things there that was the issue, was unwillingness to change. Not for me. Like, I wouldn't ask her to do anything for me whatsoever. But for yourself, want more. Career-wise, she can't flourish as a Leo, and that's one thing Leos have to do. Like, at some point in time, a Leo does desire to actually want to be more exuberant and more flamboyant, and she's repressing that drastically. I guess in the fit for survival to some degree, not trying to push herself past her financial limits, but the financial limits were very stretched thin, so you couldn't do anything. I think that was a good issue with that. Oh, this is one that I just remembered. She liked to staying inside. That's not a bad thing. Like, I don't see, as for me as Aquarius, I do love staying inside, okay? But I also do love doing other things, like not being inside. Like, I'm not very social. Wait. Rephrase that. I'm very social, but I'm not social. I don't like going outside and going to parties, stuff like that, but I love doing things, like experiences. That's one thing that this Leo was not really fond of, doing things experience-wise outside of the household. That was the issue that we had. And also, she also didn't like the fact that I also didn't want to stay inside all the time, you know? And that's the thing. It could be just like going to the movies, going out to eat, going to the park, going to a museum, going to another city to check things out. Those kind of things. At the peak of my youth, at 25, 26, 27, where it was, I was like, let's go. Let's flourish this shit frivolously. Let's go spend up money. She's like, nah, not this Leo. Oh man. But yeah, those were some of the big key factors. Because at some point, like I said, the independence thing wasn't yeah, I was turned off eventually because her independence thing was more of a dependency of trying to maintain something as minimal as possible, which I'm a very frugal person. I just don't show it too much. I spend what I spend impulsively because of my Aries Mercury. But I'm very frugal. I buy through necessity, typically only. But yeah, this is I want to see this there's a few more things that came to my mind about this that may need to be said for this Aquarius Leo dynamic. Like I said, the biggest thing about that, like we had a big, the spark was there initially from the get-go. That was good in regards to the short term. In the long term, those things were kind of productive. The things that brought us together, also things that pulled us apart. Because, I know for a fact, I swear up and down that I'm annoying as shit. As time goes on, I'm annoying as shit. People in the bars, people on my job don't see that me unless they get tired of me, but it's too bad. I'm getting paid to annoy you. Or I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna annoy you on my leisure, Family, or long-term relationship though, that might not. It's not always the same oomph, It's work. It's work to deal with, and also that's one thing too. Aquarius is very obstinate. We get set in our ways. We say things that are very, very could be factually based. Typically, mine tend to be factually based around logic and facts and not opinion. And for that situation, the Leo didn't like things to be not said that went against the thought process she had, because she also is a fixed sign. Shit. Before I go further, let me quickly remind myself. I forget. I think they're fixed. I'm gonna book out quick. You know what I'm saying? That book. That book. Because this is actually very important for me to just finish saying my line. You know what I'm saying? I can't be making this false information. Like I said, I gotta be kind of factual. Fixed. Like I said. Fixed in the thoughts. And fixed also, again, fixed doesn't also necessarily mean stubborn or fixed in their ways, but it could be fixed in regards to the best way to say fixed in the situation of Aquarius is fixed based around persistence. Like we persistently persist about doing things a certain kind of way, which can be seen as stubborn, but it's not necessarily stubbornness that keeps us fixed in our ways. We're open to change. I'm open to change. I'm open to conversation, but that may not be the case, But yeah, so yeah, we butted heads, but that kind of stuff a lot. But not much though, because she didn't like the conflict. I didn't like conflict either, but fact kind of shuts down opinions pretty quickly at times, What else of value could I add to this? Because like I said, it was long term. Like I said, those Aquarius Leo is definitely a good short-term affair. But if both signs are stuck in their ways, not willing to compromise for the other sign or change things to sorry, I shouldn't say that. Like according to this case study right now, it wasn't about changing for each other, but I had my viewpoint about how people should be able to live. But you should, this is factual information for me, that everyone should be able to support themselves with or without their spouse or relationship they're in. Period. If you can't do that, you need to change things up so you can do so. Personal opinion, and that's my persistently fixed opinion about myself that aided in this relationship not being so great on this side. Another thing too, very important thing. Unfortunately, I'm not sure this is fully across the board with Aquarius, but for a few I talked to, it's been kind of on par with it. Every relationship that we are in has to have two key points. We have to be friends, and we have to be in love with our friend. We're not in the way that we love friends like everyone else. If you can't be in love with a person and still be their friend, then there's always going to be an extra detachment with the Aquarius compared to other signs. Some signs are all about love and that's it. They don't have to necessarily have a friendship part there. You have to have both. And that's actually one of the reasons why I noticed that air signs tend to work best in that situation, because regardless, if you're all detached to some degree, and that separation helps keep the friendship part fully intact, with the love being there, for the romantic part, and the love being there too. So that's another quick dynamic there. That should be my TikTok instead. But yeah, fire sign, air sign typically they get along very well. In this direct situation here for this fire sign and this air sign, Aquarius, Leo, short term it works out pretty decently, depending on just sun signs. Long term, it works more chances for failure in the long term, strictly off sun sign. The rest of the birth chart, take into consideration, things can work out, but those things I've mentioned may still be issues to deal with. The kingdom, if the Aquarius isn't willing to be a jester in that kingdom, then they're gonna fall apart at some point in time. If the Leo is not open to be able to make change to be with that Aquarius, in regards to letting it be free and not worry so much about not being the main statue in the garden of statues, constantly being lifted up, then there's going to be those problems. The Leo is not going to have the emotional connection that they want and the adoration that they want from the Aquarius. That's going to be a situation, unless they are able to deal with that. Because every relationship has some level of compromisation, and that is one that I feel that Leos cannot not need. Because one thing Leos need to feel that they're needed, and Aquarius may or may not always give them enough of that gumption to keep their spirits afloat, to keep the relationship alive. That's my personal feeling about that. That's actually really good analysis right there. Shit, pat myself on the back there. Oh, feel that shit. But no, like I said, I'm not going to get too much further into that. I maybe would have thought more about this case study, because I wanted this actually deeper. This is actually pretty deep, but I wanted to tackle everything at a deeper level. But if you guys like this, let me know, because I will try to talk to more people. Cause I have 2 or 3 already in mind, but not the full details, about how to properly do a further in-depth case study situation for the 2 signs and how they got along or they didn't get along. If you like I said, let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and share this one to your friends, because I think I liked it. Aside from my gaps in space and time, I liked it, So, hey, let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, my friends, stay classy. Be you.